Welcome back to the Dennis Miller Show. Joining us now, contributor to Big Hollywood and Townhall Magazine, John Hanlon, has a new article compiling Vice President, mispronouncing him like Christopher Walken, Vice President.
Accumulating Vice President Joe Biden.
Joe Biden's Biggest Gaffes. Hey, John, how are you?
Great. Thanks for having me on the show.
This an archival work, I would imagine. This is like Bob Caro with LBJ, an amazing amount of information that you had to go through here, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And there was just too much info to use, so I just used the rhetorical slip-ups he had as vice president. I didn't go back into the archives because then I would have to write a whole book on it.
Yeah, then that's like opening the closet that you haven't checked in ages, and everything falls out, including the bowling ball that hits you on the head. You can follow John on Twitter at John Hanlon. Let's just count them down, baby, 10-1, because these things are all borderline genius, i.e. scary. What do we got in the 10 slot, Johnny?
Number 10 is when he was talking about infrastructure, and he said to some of America's mayors, if I blindfolded Americans and took them into some of the airports or ports in China and then took them to some of the cities in the U.S., and I said, which one's a great one, they would say, oh, the ones here. And Joe Biden said those would all be in China. Which, of course, is great to say to America's mayors.
I know thy audience, I think. I just love a vice president starting off with the same thing that somebody who's too high at a party starts off with. If I blindfolded you, I mean, it's silly to do it for that audience, but it's also crazy that our vice president's setting up.
I know, it sounds like he's a would-be kidnapper.
It's such a fantabulous. If I blindfolded you. Okay, good, Joe, good. All right, number 9. This is a recent one. Yeah, this one actually didn't make me chortle as much as it got me pissed off at him. He's such a hack. Give me number 9.
This is the one where he said, unchain Wall Street. The Romney administration, are going to put you all back in chains.
God.
Which clearly...
grotesque. Honest to God, I don't know why black people don't stand up and say, hey, you idiot. We got to, I always like when PETA pulls up pictures of the Holocaust camps and compares them to Hormel. I always want somebody to just say, oh, shut up, you morons. And I wish black people would stand up and say, Biden, can you quit using the worst couple centuries of our life to make some political point, you idiot?
Yeah, I mean, some people did. Jesse Jackson's daughter said on Fox News that it was profoundly insulting and very, very close to being contemptuous. But a lot of black people just accepted it.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
Well, I don't know, man. At some point you got to call even ostensibly your protectors on their heavy-handedness. Let's go to number 8, and this one sounds like Yogi Berra or something. Give me this one.
This is when Joe Biden was advocating for the stimulus. He said, if we do everything right, if we do it with absolute certainty, there's still a 30% chance we're going to get it wrong. Which is probably why he's not a math teacher.
That does reek of the great Yogi Berra. If we do it with absolute certainty, there's still a 30% chance. Oh, that's a funny one. All right, I'm laughing again. Number 7. Let's hear that. We're counting them down. This is Biden's Greatest Gaffes. We're with John Hanlon. You can follow John on Twitter at John Hanlon, Hanlon. Give me number 7.
Joe Biden was talking about Obama's plan to kill bin Laden, and he said, you can go back 500 years, you cannot find a more audacious plan, never knowing for certain. We never had more than a 40% probability that he was there. If
you discount Biden being selected as the vice president, it's the most audacious
plan. The most audacious plan in 500 years?
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. Let's go to number 6. Biden, what's he got here?
Okay, he was introducing the Ireland's prime minister, and he said his mom lived in Long Island for 10 years or so, God rest her soul, and although she's still, your mom's still alive.
Oh, that's a daily for him, though. That's just, that's him breaking adhesions in the on-deck circle.
I know, but he's supposed to be great in foreign policy, and this is how he introduces Ireland's prime minister?
Even he, when he introduces himself, says, no, I'm supposed to be an expert on foreign policy. Even he knows that it's craziness. Number 5, what do we got? We're midway through with John Hanlon counting down Biden's Greatest Gaffes.
This is about him talking about the Tea Party representatives in Congress. And this is when he said they acted like terrorists, which he never admitted was a gaffe, but clearly the vice president shouldn't be calling congressional Republicans who he's supposed to be working with like terrorists. You shouldn't be comparing them.
Yeah, this one falls more into line with they're going to put you all back in chains and they acted like terrorists. You know, occasionally, like I said, some of these are just funny. Some of them are goofball. A couple of them are really nasty. I have a feeling that Biden, they always tell me, I can't tell you how many people I bump into the guy. I like Joe. He's a nice guy. He seems like a nasty piece of work to me. You know, guys who believe this stuff, if you really believe it, fine. But if you just go out and parrot it because your boss demanded you play the bad cop and the good cop, bad cop thing, then I really think of you as a hack. All right, what's number 4?
Number 4 is when he was talking about the recession, he said, the few things I've laid out are not going to solve the greatest recession in the history of the American Republic.
Again, so I guess he's not, he's just blotting out 1920. So that's the good thing. They don't have to use 29 through 43 as a recession. That was just a flat-out depression. So they've got room to move here to bang their chest about other things. Number 3.
Number 3 is when there was a whole swine flu outbreak, and he said that he would tell members of his family that he wouldn't go in anywhere in confined spaces. And he said he wouldn't be traveling in any kind of public transportation, which...
You want your main guy stepping up and doing the leadership thing.
Imagine if he was president at the time he said that. I mean...
Oh, yeah. Well, of course...
The Metro stopped going to work. It's...
Yeah, but this one kind of rings true. And the smallest of all places, by the way, I would remind you, during a swine flu outbreak, don't go in to Joe Biden's prefrontal lobes, because that the tightest of all possible space. That's an MRI exam. Let's go to number 2.
Number 2 is when Joe Biden went to China, he said that he's not second-guessing their one-child-per-family policy, which, as vice president, you should be questioning.
Yeah, you don't want to get... Listen, they know that their bread is buttered over here. Big donations on the abortion thing. So they can't... It's just business. That one's just Joe looking at you saying, this is all about business. He sounds Michael Corleone on that one. And number 1, let me give you... Number 1, biggest Joe Biden gaffe.
This is the healthcare signing bill, when he said this is a big expletive deal.
No, see, that one doesn't bother me as much. What do you, that made him seem human to me. You know, I assume that every second word behind the scenes with these guys is the F word, right?
I think it is. But,
yeah.
I mean, for Obama, that's a big legislative achievement, and Biden directly undercut that because half of the news stories were about health care bill, and the other half were Joe Biden.
Yeah, okay, so he didn't serve his cause at that point. You know, I sometimes think that if you wanted to get Biden in on dealing really seriously with Iraq, there'd be 2 ways to do it. First, establish that the Muslim Brotherhood had come out with a Tea Party splinter group. And the second thing is Netanyahu should say, I want to drop an F-bomb on Iraq. And then I think Biden would be on it a second, because I get a feeling he drops a lot of F-bombs. All right, a couple goodies. We got any bonus Baker's Dozens ones that didn't make the big list?
Well, there's a great one when he was talking about Obama that didn't make the list. He said that Teddy Roosevelt said, speak softly but carry a big stick, and Joe Biden assured Americans everywhere that Obama had a big stick.
Well, you know, they do have on schedule a weekly shower together. So it's, some people lunch, they take a shower and loofah each other. All right, Johnny. Sounds like a good article. We're talking to John Hanlon, contributor to Big Hollywood, Townhall Magazine. Which of those 2 can we find the article at, John?
It's Townhall Magazine. It's the October issue.
All right, John Hanlon. We appreciate your time, Johnny. Compiling Vice President Joe Biden's biggest gaffes. And you can follow John on Twitter at John Hanlon.